You know that feeling, right? You're in a meeting, you've got this brilliant idea brewing, but you just can't seem to find that perfect moment to jump in. Well, if that sounds familiar, this one's for you. We're going to dismantle the myth that you have to be loud to be successful. We'll explore how you can get your ideas heard, not by faking being an extrovert, but by mastering the quiet art of communication. The legendary MIT professor Patrick Winston just laid it out so perfectly. He basically said that your success isn't just about having great ideas, it's really about how you share them. And get this, look at the order he uses. Storytelling and writing come before the quality of the idea itself. That's a really powerful thing to think about.
So if communication is that important, what does it mean for all the introverts out there? You know, for those of us who prefer to think things through before we speak, does that automatically put us at a disadvantage?
And right there, that's the dilemma, isn't it? Our modern work culture seems to reward the most outgoing people, the person with the quickest answer, the super confident pitch, the one who never stops networking. If you're an introvert, that can feel like you're under constant pressure to perform, to act like somebody you're not, just to get a good idea on the table. But here's the real game changer. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to become someone else. The answer is actually a simple but powerful mindset shift. Stop thinking of communication as a personality trait you're stuck with and start seeing it for what it is, a skill. And you know the best part about skills? They can be learned, they can be practiced, and they can absolutely be mastered. So, this leads us to a whole new way of looking at it. Instead of worrying about your personality, let's focus on discipline. Think about communication like it's a craft. You know, like learning to play the guitar or woodworking. It's something you build and you get better at through intentional practice.
And that really highlights this huge difference. On one side, you have this idea of just innate authenticity, basically just being yourself and hoping for the best. And look, being authentic is super important, but it's often not enough. But on the other side, you have disciplined practice. And that right there is where mastery comes from. It's about deliberately honing your ability to structure your message and deliver it with real impact.
The incredible opera singer Maria Callas gave us the perfect way to think about this. A breathtaking performance, you see, isn't just about what happens when the spotlight is on. It's actually the result of thousands of hours of unseen, grueling preparation.
And that's exactly it. Just like Callas perfecting every single note, a great communicator, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert, achieves that effortless-looking impact through relentless prep work. It's all about the work you do long before you ever say a word.
Okay, so we've got the mindset down. But knowing communication is a skill is one thing, right? Having the actual tools to build that skill is something else entirely. So let's get practical. Let's look at a couple of frameworks that can give your ideas a really solid structure.
Because let's be honest, the goal isn't just to be heard. The goal is to be remembered. And the key to making an idea stick is to package it in a structure that the human brain can actually grab onto and hold.
And that brings us to Winston's STAR, a great 5-point framework for this. First, you need a unique symbol, like a visual shortcut for your idea. Then, a catchy slogan. You add a surprise, something that makes people go, "Whoa, I didn't see that coming." Then you present a salient idea, something that's genuinely different. And finally, you wrap it all up in a compelling story. You hit these 5 points and your idea becomes almost impossible to forget.
All right, let's raise the stakes a bit. What about those really high-pressure moments, like a huge job interview or a pitch to the executive board? In those situations, having a clear, structured story is absolutely everything. For those moments, you can use the VCRN framework. It's so simple but so effective. You start with vision. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Then, contributions. What have you already done? Next up, your roadmap. What's your plan going forward? And you finish with novelty. What makes your way of doing it totally unique? It's just a killer way to organize your thoughts for maximum impact.
So, we have the right mindset and we have the tools. But, does this stuff actually work in the real world? Oh, absolutely. Let's take a look at how some real-world introverted leaders use their quiet confidence as a kind of superpower.
First up, let's talk about one of the most successful investors of all time, Warren Buffett. I mean, he is the classic example of a leader who does not rely on being loud or charming to get his point across.
His entire success story is built on classic introvert strengths. He's famous for his deep reflection, spending hours and hours every day just reading and thinking. He has this strategic patience, waiting for the perfect moment. And all of his decisions are incredibly careful and considered. He doesn't just follow the crowd. He trusts his own quiet research.
Now, for a totally different, but just as powerful example of quiet leadership, the civil rights icon Rosa Parks.
Her act that changed the world wasn't some fiery speech. It was a quiet, firm, deliberate act of defiance. Her leadership was defined of her quiet dignity and her incredible resolve. She chose a single, powerful action over loud words, and in doing so, she led by an example that sparked a movement.
I mean, these examples prove it, right? You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to have the biggest impact. It's really about finding the right way to amplify your own authentic voice so your best ideas can finally get out there.
So let's just pull this all together. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Success is not, and it should never be, about changing the fundamental core of who you are. Instead, it's about arming yourself. It's about mastering the right tools and the right frameworks so you can communicate your ideas with real clarity and conviction.
Because, at the end of the day, that's the whole point. It's about building a bridge from that quiet, reflective world inside your head to the outside world, so your brilliant ideas get the spotlight they truly deserve.
So, we'll leave you with this thought. You now have the mindset, you have some practical tools, and you've seen the proof that it works. The only question left is the one you need to ask yourself. What quiet, brilliant idea will you choose to amplify first?